So out of focus. Oh, come on, piece of junk. Hi friends, how are you? So we are about to dive into episode 2 of Mob Psycho 100. Now, a couple things before we talk about the previous episode. Again, I don't know if my microphone is still doing that thing where the left side is louder than the right, so please listen carefully if you need to, and make sure that it's mono, that it sounds equal in both ears. If it doesn't, please comment, hey, your audio sounds like you're loud on my left side and my right side. I know that in terms of your computer, you can go into your computer settings. I don't know about phones though. With your computer settings and put your sound to mono. Again, I don't know what about phones. I'm trying, but please, if it's still having a sound issue, I need to know so that way I can play with it and try to figure out better, like, hey, how do I fix this so it's not irritating you guys? Because I also find that irritating if it sounds really loud or only on one side versus the other. It's always on the left side for some reason. So again, if you still hear it unequally, again, it would just be my voice. It wouldn't be the episode footage. It would just be my voice. Please let me know so I know I should fix it, or at least give you a heads up, like, okay, I don't know how to fix it, but when I go back home and I have my desktop, it should be better. Okay. Anything else to add? No, I've really enjoyed, again, I've only seen one episode, but I'm thankful for the comments that are like, no, this Mob Psycho 100 comes after One Punch Man. I am curious, though, about the style of the anime. It's just not as clean and sharp as One Punch Man. Is that because they were done by different studios? Was that a studio choice? Is that a director choice? Is that like simply a more like how the manga was done? So just let me know, because I am curious about why it seems like it's older than One Punch Man. But I've heard you guys comment, you said you love the arcs, the stories, the growth. um, you know, first episode's always first impressions, but it's always fun when an anime does a really good job of breaking those first impressions and going, ha ha ha, joke's on you, this character is actually like this, or da da, or whatever it might be. So don't tell me too much, don't tell me any details. I obviously need to figure that out for myself, but if that's what's that's what's ahead for me, I'm very excited about that, because I really do enjoy when anime is like surprise me in a really good way, like, hey, you think this person's like this, guess again. So I always enjoy that, and so far all the animes that I've watched have done a good job of that. I haven't really watched a really bad anime, at least reacted to one. I'm sure I've watched some okay animes. Usually though, if they're okay animes, usually the biggest issue comes down to poor adaptation by the studios, or sometimes it's filler stuff, which is again adaptation of the studios, or the manga is not done, so the anime, again, the studio has to make something up, so it doesn't quite fit. Which is part of the reason why Fruits Basket was redone, why Full Metal Alchemist was redone, which I have not seen either of those. But that was part of the reason why they were redone, because when they were first airing, the manga wasn't done yet, so they had to make up some endings. Manga finished different what the anime did, so they're like, okay, we're gonna do it again. But that, because now we have the whole story, which is actually really cool. That like animes are like, yeah, we're gonna do it again. We're just gonna remake it, or not really remake it, just do a more proper adaptation of it, which is cool. And I like that. And again, in the end, it's meant to sell manga, but it also makes people excited about the anime as my brother was telling me a lot about this, especially because he watched I don't think he ever watched the original Fruits Basket when it came out when I was young, but he watched the new Fruits Basket that came out, and he's telling me about it, which is cute. Anyway, is there anything else to add? No, I like Mob. He is crazy powerful. I'm really concerned because we're entering a percentage field where he's going to berserker mode, which is not good. That's really bad. So even I know that. So we're like, why? Is it because the more he uses the ESP powers, the more, like, you know, sets it off? Okay, so my answers as to why it keeps rising. Is this guy a full-blown, like, charlatan? Is he just using mob, or is there some person that actually cares about it? Obviously, we'll get my answers as the anime moves forward. Whether or not he's an Esper at all, or even a little bit. But I do have to say what I really... And the comment about kind of how most Japanese are incredibly secular, they aren't really religious anymore. Most of the stuff that has to do with the temples and things are more probably cultural than anything else. That's true of a lot of, at least, Jewish people that not here in New York, because there's a lot of Jewish people here, but where I live, anyone who's really Jewish, they're not really Jewish. They just say that they are because I guess they were descendant of them, but they're not really practicing very, like, at all, except for maybe, like, big holidays, which is very similar to Christmas. Catholics. Those are Catholics. I'm not Catholic, but those are Catholics who only go to church on Christmas and Easter, pretty much, as most people who are kind of churched do. Or if they go to church at all, they go on Christmas and Easter, kind of the big holidays still. But obviously, as culture grows more and more secular and more materialistic, not materialistic in, like, terms of, like, money, but, like, materialism and kind of that kind of stuff. Those worldviews that kind of make sense. Side note, it was something that was interesting was if you've watched my A Place Further Than the Universe reactions, after I finished that anime, go check it out by the way, I was watching Tiabu's. And of course, when you get to watch and not react, you can kind of see things you miss. I didn't realize the character Hinata in that show was incredibly religious. You see all the more Hindu religious stuff in the background. She also was very serious about them screaming next to the not temple, I forget what it's called. But she's very, like, religious, and which is interesting. I didn't catch that the first time around. I was like, huh. So it's always fun when you catch things, but you're also like, dang, I wish I had caught that when you're doing your reactions. But the commenting was very interesting, and I feel like it definitely makes a lot of sense, especially in the Japanese culture, or in the world in general. We do see this also more so with more Western influenced countries, is that the more Western influence they have, not the less religious, that's not true, but definitely the more of that materialism stuff kind of invades. Someone had called it something, global empiricism. I'm reading a book about culture and worldviews, more specifically in art, so I'm trying to remember the terms she was bringing up. A lot of it was, like, mind-blowing to me. I was like, whoa, yeah, no, I do see that happening, but it's more Western culture focused, not Japanese. That's besides the point. The point is, what I like about this show is that One Punch Man is all about, it's all physical. I mean, there's a lot of, like, mental determination, but all of it's very, very physical, obviously. His power is literally in his punch. What's really cool about this show is that it's all mind focused. So again, ESP, not ESPN, ESP, Espers in the mind, spirits, ghosts. And so it's kind of cool because we see this Japanese, the manga artist apply his worldview first to the physical, but now also to the spiritual in a lot of ways. And which I'm sure, and I did a little bit last episode, and I'll do it more so as we move forward. I'll probably make a lot of comparisons from the things that I kind of remember from One Punch Man. And a side note, I discovered, to my irritation, that every single one of my One Punch Man reactions on BitChute have been completely blocked. All of them. The OVAs, every season. I'm like, what? Are you freaking kidding me? And it's the only anime. None of the other animes are blocked. Just One Punch Man. And I ended up trying to look up some reactions randomly. I just typed in One Punch Man reaction BitChute. And they were also blocked. So clearly, somehow somebody is going to these specific websites and either getting BitChute or manually going through themselves. And once, obviously, if they find someone's channel and realize they have a bunch of One Punch Man reactions, they'll probably just go through and systematically try to block it. But it's weird. I'm not quite sure how BitChute works a lot. So I'm like, should I just try to re-upload it? What's the thing? Someone had mentioned Odyssey, and that's kind of also like BitChute, so I might just have to create an Odyssey account and get my One Punch Man's on that one instead, and then maybe try to re-upload them on BitChute. I might play with it more so in September, but I am very irritated because I really liked One Punch Man. I had a fun time with the reactions, and if they're and no one really said they were blocked, so I was surprised that I was surprised when I saw that, because no one said, "Hey, your reaction's blocked." No one commented that recently, so I guess shows no one's watching my videos. Anyway, that's really all I've got to say about that. This anime looks really cool. Again, something I really enjoy about the style is that it really allows itself to go into the more grotesque and more of like twisting of realities, like things stretching in ways that sometimes some of the other more grounded animes or mangas don't do as much. So it allows this style, the manga artist, and thus the anime, the artist allows themselves to go into the bit more surreal and kind of just like twist things and stretch them, and not just the spirits, which makes sense, but even the people and the angles of these things, like the really harsh foreshortenings and the angles like from above and from below and like really close to the face, and kind of the lines, the motion blurs and the stretching, and like the overacting from I'll get his name hopefully after this particular episode. Is just kind of like really cool. It's cool to see that even amongst, and again, it probably depends on what time and era of anime that influences how they do it, but it is really cool to see kind of like, oh, this is done by the same artist. Oh, it makes sense. I can see their style and all of it, which is really cool. Anyway, I've been on long enough. So if you're new to YouTube, my channel specifically, there's no sound on YouTube. Partial image keeps the copyright monsters at bay, but there is a countdown timer, so if you want to follow along, you can't miss it. It looks like this anime does have a halfway point, but it was so fast I missed it. So I'll try to keep an eye out for it more, and that way, if I can, I will pause if I need to and talk about it. But if it's as fast as it was last time, I'm probably gonna miss it and just, work all the way through, kind of like Your Camp, which is also another anime I reacted to, both seasons and all the OVAs that have come out so far, which is cool. Oh, I got attacked by a bug. Without further ado, let's dive in. Kageyama Shigeo Mob. Second year middle school. Okay. I recognize that narrator. Oh no. Middle school's an ugly mess. What? Is this guy an idiot? So, wanted obviously One Punch Man in this. What else have they done? Could you let me know? Of course, I've heard nothing but good things about Bones. They've just apparently they're very respectful and good on the adaptations. This isn't catchy as the One Punch Man intros, but artistically, it's way more creative, I would argue. Apparently, we're seeing that thing later, so we are getting a Slimer. It's kind of loud. She's so into him, and he seems like an idiot. My 9 mob car. I did read the description of this series and on Crunchyroll. So it does talk about the fact that he's an expert trying to live a normal life, but due to certain things, he ends up going to berserk mode. and which I'm going to assume then this guy must know about it or saw it happen, and that's how he took Mob under his wing, so to speak. Man, this right now this anime is either too loud or too soft, but it might just be the intro. Oh right, the telepathy club appears. That's not a curse. That's just normal how those sites work. What is he doing? He's doing pressure point work? It's not a curse, it's just tension. It's not a curse. Massage fee. Those look delicious. Massages. Clearly. Oh, now we get how this happened. No, it's something else. So he want. Oh, he kind of got it. What are these animations? Oh. Oh, come on. Come on. Finally. Oh, come on. Ah. Okay, so to kind of I like how they animate people to make them come across as plain looking. So we got Telepathy Club. Oh, student council. I just kind of love the fact that almost in all animes, the student council comes across as this really powerful entity in the school. I know that voice too. It's kind of funny when you start hearing the same voices. You're like, oh, I know the actor, I know the actress. I just don't remember their real names. Okay, so looking at this, Mob wants to be a normal kid because he's really in love with this girl. He wants to go experience other things. The other guy wants to keep him around because Mob's a real esper and he needs him to legitimize him. And now this club is coming in. Oh my gosh, all these fun angles. This is so cool. And now this club is now desperate to find a fifth member. Not saying no hot guys or girl. It's creepy, it's creepy. Oh my gosh. Look, gosh. This anime is so creative. The style, the grotesqueness, all of this. It's so fun. Yeah, because it is creepy. Oh my gosh, you know what's funny? This is so silly. It has Ed, Ed, and Eddie feels to it a little bit. So he's in his class and just knows him as a kid and just goes home all the time. That's cute. I love that. I love what things make him happy. But a real Esper. Why is the Star of David in the background? It says power. Oh, for sure. This is so amazing. Look at this. Oh my gosh. This is amazing. This anime is so creative. Oh, she's trying to pull up all the girl cards. He's trying to keep her from crying. He's actually right. He's right, actually. Oddly enough, he's actually really right. So they don't actually believe in. This is so weird. I kind of hope they actually their club dies. So they're not actually serious about any of this thing, except for her. They just want to have a club to goof off at. Why are you dressed like that? That's a dude in a dress. They're dudes in dress. Me too. I guess mom makes sense. He's in middle school. He hasn't gone through puberty. He probably is very fine featured. He probably looks like. I love how that's one of the things. Oh, halfway point. Cool. I'm gonna stop there actually. The little hand. Okay. I love obviously the grown man has gone through puberty. Clearly he's not a girl. I mean, good grief, look at him. So I'm glad I caught that. But Mob hasn't finished going through puberty yet. And so his voice hasn't dropped. He doesn't have any facial hair. He's fine featured. He probably, with the wig, looks like a little girl. Again, like hair hasn't really come through on his legs yet. So he's small. He's clearly a small kid. So much. He actually passes. Even though obviously he's not. Poor mom. I love how that was one of the things that kind of shut out the percentage to him. I was going berserk of all things. And then clearly the grown man in a dress is not a girl. Why they thought it was a good idea and just all levels of stupid. Anyway, focus. Telepathy club. I mean, the girl believes in the telepathy thing, but the boys don't. They just want to goof off and hang out. They don't really care. I just want to clarify. Is it 2 years in high school or is it 3 years in high school? No, it's 3 years because the third year would be technically you would be 14. So he is 13, turning 14. Got it. So he has one more year, and then he can go to a high school. And then, of course, there is that kind of pressure because what I find fascinating and pretty cool is that, and you don't see this too much in the States, there are some schools, but of course there are also people who have power who don't like those schools, and so they try to ruin the hierarchy they have in place. My school was like that. You had to apply to get in, you had to have good grades, and then some whiny parents and some whiny people in power didn't like that, and so they screwed up the system, and now it became a lottery system, and now it's a mess, and all these problems that we didn't have before, or the schools didn't have before, suddenly they have now. Oh, I wonder why. Anyway, focus. It's kind of interesting that you have to apply to the high school of your choice, kind of like college. And it kind of makes sense because college is very unforgiving and can be very, very tough. If you are a grade A student but you're a big procrastinator, a lot of times you can get with A's and B's, at least in public school. But when it comes to high school, college, what you could get away with in high school that get you A's and B's, now you're going to fail the class in college. So there's kind of this big gap unless you go to a really lousy college. So I'm always intrigued by the kind of application system. But anyway, they would feel that pressure to want to get in. So these kids, in their head, they're like, no, we want to goof off now, and then we'll worry about high school next year, worry about the high school application and grades next year, and then we'll go from there. It does take one to know one, and his boss, whose name I have to get down eventually, does know exactly what's been going on. So he is actually really good at reading people, which probably usually almost every hand palm reader, tarot card reader, all of them, they're all charlatans. There's only a few who actually see spirits, and even then, if they do, hey, run away. Anyway, most of them are charlatans, but they're good at reading people for the most part. Like, they're really successful ones, like he is. So that's why he was able to know she's even over the phone. He was like, crocodile tears, They're clearly just trying to use you because they want to goof off and they want their room, and it is very evident. He didn't have to see it to know, because he, as a charlatan, knows how these young charlatans are going to work. So I'm curious to see if the club will stick around or if they'll implode or get abolished, which obviously no one really cares about if they do or not. And looks like most of the girl believes in it, but most of the boys just want to goof off and hang out. And yeah, no, I really like this anime. The styles, the directing, like the above shot of the room was cool, but it was angled weird, so that you got like the parts of the room were cut off. The kind of the arguments there, the playing with the animation styles, the weird foreshortening. I mean, there is a level of fun and creativity with art styles, very, I guess, more surrealism going on in this anime than I feel went on with One Punch Man, which I guess was vaguely more grounded in reality, vaguely so. I just find it really fascinating. I think it's really cool. I like it. It's just kind of fun, but because it's so insane art style wise, it's also, I'm a little overwhelmed. So eventually I'll figure it out. But this is definitely one of those animes you have to rewatch because the art style is so freaking cool. Anyway, I paused long enough in the halfway point. There won't be a timer to go into the next half, but I will say that I am pressing play. The hands like this. Now. That's probably a really nice school. Better than the one he goes to, I bet. What? The real clients. They're pretty. Reagan. I like their hairs. It's kind of cool. Hmm. I was gonna say it might be. I think the missing things could be just klepto. The weird noises could be an old school, but if you see a brawl flooding, yeah, it's kind of weird. Oh, it's a high school. Oh, they're older than him. That's why they're so big. He's such a sweetheart. Really nice school. Ooh, look at just the way it's bent, the room. It's cool when he goes into serious mode. Oh, that's what he's trying to do. Yeah, but what does it do? What will it do? Especially to that poor basketball team. Oh, it is huge. What is that thing? It looks like a student. Oh, so he's set goal. He's like a pervy spirit. He's like a creepy middle schooler. And it's because of his powers that they could actually see the spirit. That's... Oh, he's gonna try to possess her. That's so cool. Oh my gosh, she's crazy powerful. We haven't seen how powerful yet. This has only been a taste, hasn't it? Of course, it's only episode 2. Dang. A lesson from a perfect ghost. How strange. Well, look at that, how simplified that was there. Interesting moment. Literally, he's reflecting in the bathtub. Hmm. So his brother clearly is older than him. Oh, and a cold glass of milk. Hmm. Oh, so he actually accepts the club. Body Improvement Club? Oh, so they're bodybuilder clubs. What a very serious minded and guy. He's getting a lot of spiritual pressing this episode. Talk to a pretty girl. Bodybuilding club is cute. And she's super cute. He's not very physical. Oh. he gonna join the body improvement club? Bye bye. 40%. Oh my gosh. Good for him though. Body improvement club's kind of cute. And I have to say, he's so strong mentally. His Esper abilities, that it'd be good for him to, especially at that young age, to start like physically doing something. It'd be good for him. He'll be a very well-rounded person. Now, if only he could get his grades together. That's okay. So Reagan, the guy's name is Reagan. But I'm guessing that's who we're seeing more so here. Look at the style. It's charcoal, or like black chalk. That's charcoal. That's what it is. Like everything. It's like being erased and re-erased and moved. Gosh, the art styles, the art mediums, it's so impressive. I have to say, if you have someone who really loves art and you want to show them, hey, here's something you can do with, here's all these mediums, you want to see an anime that can really show off, this is it. It's like charcoal, but it also comes across as almost like black watercolor in some ways. And now it's, or like pencil work almost too. Like, or watercolor pencils. And that's kind of cute also too, to see kind of, oh. that. I do kind of like the fact that Reagan clearly is charlatan. We'll talk on the review. So I do like the fact that even though Reagan is clearly a charlatan, he actually seems to genuinely care about Mob. And it may be, I don't know if it's because he's just, I'm an adult and I care about you and I want you to have a great life, or whatever it might be. But I kind of like that he's actually seems to genuinely care. He's able to pick up on the fact that the clubs were just trying to goof around. He didn't want him to really waste his life, so he's like, hey, no, they're charlatans, don't get involved. They're just trying to, they just want to keep their money and do what they want. And so I really like that he kind of kept an eye on Mob. And obviously we got the story of like how Mob, because of Mob's powers and his concern for going berserk, which I guess he did, already he feels it coming on, and so he decided, well, I'm gonna work with, went to him for help, and so that's how he kind of got pulled into this. So that's really cool for me to know, like, okay, cool, that's how this happened. But I also love this moment here where so I really enjoy that. I like how it kind of turned things on its head, where he, even though it was like clearly a pervy ghost just trying to like a girl's, through the ghost and through being intimidated by a bunch of high school girls who clearly adored him the moment he like saved the day. If you really want a girl's affection, like show that you can like be a hero, it's just like, it's catnip for girls, okay? Or wear a suit, like a really nice fitting suit. That'll get you the girls, okay? Inappropriate pictures will not, I will tell you that much. And if it gets you the girls, it's not ones you want to keep. Anyway, so I kind of love that. I love those moments where he's a middle school boy. He's very intimidated, especially by high school girls. I love those little cute moments. But I also love those moments where he gets so serious and protective, and he's just like amazing. So those are really cool to see. Oh, sorry. So those are really cool to see. And then we also have this moment where it's just, it's just really fun, because the things that we struggle with as middle schoolers and high schoolers, we still struggle with as adults, just kind of in various depths. And sometimes we eventually work through those issues, and sometimes they come back in a whole new way that we're kind of surprised, or maybe they, whatever. The point is, the things that Mob are going through, not only can we empathize with that because we went through it, especially if we're a little older, but also because in some ways we're still going through that. We're still self-conscious. We still want to be popular. Like, that never seems to quite go away. There's still that, like, this part of us that wants to please people and be really, really well liked. Social media is a clear example that continues on and is nurtured well into adulthood, to, you know, quite a narcissistic level. But I digress. I love this art style. I would say, if you want to show somebody who's really creative, who wants to play with different art mediums and stuff, you're like, hey, let me show you this. I mean, look at even the picture for Mob Psycho at 100. The ball city, the upside down, the multiple art styles, the grotesqueness, the stretching that happens, the playing from, you know, ink to pencil to watercolor pencil or charcoal or pastel, whatever that was. I'm so bad at identifying stuff sometimes from a distance. Looks mainly like charcoal or black chalk. So it's so cool to see, and it's incredibly creative. So I don't know how much of this they gained from the manga in terms of artistic creativity, except for the really cool, like, directing shots. Those are really cool. But obviously the anime director plays a role in this, but the animators, it's like they get to go hog wild on this anime. It's so frippin' cool. And I think it's part of the reason why animators across the world have such a respect and love for Japanese anime companies, because they're like, here's what I want to do, and the anime companies are doing those things, or they did in the past, or they will be doing those things. So I think that's pretty frippin' cool. And you start to really, I understand why it's so well respected. Work ethic and other stuff on top of that. Of course, there's always downsides to every culture. There always is, there always has been. Every culture has the good, the bad, and the ugly. Across the board. So I'm sure there are horror stories of how animators are treated, directors are treated, and just so on and so forth. I understand, I get it. But it's still a freaking cool story. And I think what I like about this is that when it came to One Punch Man, I'll end with this, and then I'll end my reacting. And then I'm gonna go react to episode 3 right after this. So, yeah. Anyway, I'll end with this, is that with One Punch Man, Saitama's funny, but he's not very, I don't really like him actually all that much. He has some really cool moments, and those things where he doesn't care about popularity or how people perceive them. He just cares about, you know, doing the right thing and stopping the bad guys and so on and so forth. That's really cool. Like, him not caring what people think about him. That's something that we can take from Saitama. At the same time, though, there's a lot about Saitama I don't like. That I'm just like, okay, no. No, just no. So you have to have a more, not approachable, but a more likable character like Genos with him. Genos is more likable. He's kind of, everything about him is what you would, he's the embodiment of what you want in a hero. Tragic backstory, good looking, super powerful, willingness to learn, willingness to work with others. He, like, embodies all the virtues that you would want in a hero. So I tell him, guess he takes these. But what I love about this show is that we have the intolerable character in Reagan, who has some tolerable qualities, kind of like Saitama. But we have Mob, who is completely likable. He's very likable. And you always need to have at least one main character that's really likable. With My Hero Academia, it's Deku. Obviously, he's a likable person. You can't, I think having a show where the main character would be Katrin would be too much. But also, even Deku has his unlikable moments that you have to kind of balance out with other likable characters. It kind of keeps you from being sick of certain people. So I love how likable and how sweet and genuine Mob is. And there's so much about him that I'm sure many of us will click with. And then, of course, Reagan's a charlatan and not super likable, but at the same time, an idiot sometimes, more often than not. But at the same time, he has his likable moments when he was, I would believe, genuinely was like telling Mob, no, don't join this club. They're charlatans like him. And again, I think at the core of that, he really doesn't want Mob to join a club and minimize his time with him because he wants Mob to, work with him and spend all his time with him so he can use him for jobs. At the same time, I don't know if Reagan's gonna be like overly thrilled with him joining the not body positivity movement, heck no. The body club, or if he's gonna be kind of like, great, I didn't want you to do that because he wants to do all his time with him. But I don't know. I think it'll be good for him. Next episode is about him wanting to be popular, so there's a lot of crazy stuff going on. And he has this girl that he really likes, but he's idealized her in his head. So I don't think she's gonna be exactly what he wants. I think if another girl comes in to surprise him, I kind of hope that happens. Someone who maybe will treat Mob a little better. Because this other girl, I mean, they were really young, so of course, everybody likes the athlete. They kind of do. So they're in middle school, so her taste could be changing or actually developing to what eventually she'll actually like in a guy. Or she could just be still this idealized version in Mob's head, and she's not exactly. She's pretty, but she might not be in the end what Mob would want in a future forever. You know what I'm saying? And he's in middle school though. He shouldn't be. He's in middle school. He's going to think about it, but it's not something on his plate immediately. Anyway, I'm digressing in rabbit trails. Thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends, share with your enemies. I'm so glad I'm doing this anime. And don't forget, we are also reacting to My Hero Academia at the same time, which is pretty freaking cool. And then Anime Thursday will return in mid-August. Let me give you an actual date. The 19th. And we'll be kicking off Hibike Euphonium, which is a KyoAni animation. I've heard it's beautiful, but also it's about band and music, which is right up my alley. That's my background, heavily so. So I will probably love and hate a mixture of it because it will just bring back memories, good and bad. Thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Please share with your friends. Please share with your enemies. Please comment. Likes don't mean that much in the new YouTube world, but comments and sharing does, as well as subscribing. And if you subscribe, slap that button. Don't slap it, that's mean. Ring the bell, and definitely for notifications, that is super helpful. So definitely but do all the above as well. And then of course we will slowly inch our way closer to 10,000 subscribers. Yeah, and then I gotta think about doing a live stream probably at the end of summer. I'm probably gonna do it at the end of August. Let's do that instead. Again, thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends, share with your enemies. I'll see you next time.